So my kids, and you have met one, so he will always talk about, Daddy, Mr. Beast, he raised $12 million to clean ocean. This is how he's doing stuff.
The more that they can be advocates for how great of a place it is to work, they'll tell their friends, they'll bring in referrals.
I don't mean to say COVID was the best thing, but from an attraction side, COVID was the best thing for focus.
Welcome to this special MSP Growth episode of Sunny's Silver Linings. This week, Sunny's focused on the common mistakes MSPs make, strategies to build a strong company culture, and common talent challenges that MSPs face. Joining Sunny today, we have Chris Caprio, Chief Financial Officer, Focus Technology, and Celeste Ryan, Chief People Officer, Evergreen Services Group. And remember, if you enjoy content like this, be sure to subscribe, like, and share. Now, here's your host, the founder and CEO of IT by Design, Mr. Sunny Kaila. Over to you, Sunny.
So I have two very special people today joining me on Sunny's Silver Linings. I have Chris with me and Celeste with me from Evergreen. Chris is from Focus Technologies. Chris and Celeste, welcome to the show.
Thank you. So nice to be here.
Yeah, so thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. I truly appreciate it. And I'm going to ask you some questions to tap into your thinking, your experience, your insights, what your life university have taught you. And so we're going to start with the one question. There are a lot of startups in the channel. There are a lot of new businesses in the channel. They're scaling. So we're going to start with you, Celeste. What have you learned? What is your advice for someone who is just starting in the MSP space or in general as a small, medium-sized business?
Yeah, I think one thing that I've learned and seen go really well in areas that I've seen companies struggle is in the area of focus. So I think the companies that have done really well are companies that have figured out what are they really, really good at and find ways to do more of that and do less of the things that they're not as good at or someone else can be better at. So I think early on, when talking with MSP owners, they talk about early on in their journeys where they've hustled to serve every customer and be everything to everyone. And that has led to a lot of distractions. But when they honed in on who the ideal customer is, what the ideal use case is, and find more of those customers and do more of that thing, they can do that better. They get more referrals, and has created a flywheel of putting their efforts into that highest usage places. And that discipline has really created a lot of success for them.
That's so awesome. So thank you for sharing that. Do more what you are good at, your trademark strength, your unique capabilities as a company where you create unique experience and value, and do less of where the value is not meeting the consumer's expectations or exceeding. So that's what I heard you say. So thank you so much for bringing that perspective. And Chris, what have you learned?
I'm going to go to my CFO background here and go cash is king and not really understanding all the costs and, how to forecast a business, put a budget together, have some assumptions in that budget, obviously, but really focused on, small, short, medium term planning for their capital, how much it's going to cost, what type of hires they need to make, customer acquisition costs, marketing, sales, things like that to get started. I've seen a lot of MSPs that have had maybe a little bit easier road because a lot of them started from an MSP and maybe took a customer with them or, had a customer already and dragged them into starting an MSP, which is great to already have a customer first before you actually, maybe design the business. But certainly would recommend taking a step back, planning, putting a business plan together and understanding what are all the tools you need, what are all the costs, what are all the risks, so you're well prepared for that when you roll out.
Thank you so much for bringing that cash perspective. That is so awesome. Cash confidence is so important for entrepreneurs to do well and make bigger choices in the future, bring the way forward with stability for the team and everything else, the greater good. Okay, now we're going to move on to the second question. If you can share what mistakes you have made and what you have learned from those.
Yeah, I think the motto of you never get a second chance to make a first impression. It's really important in this business, probably any business, but certainly this one, when you're managing the IT environment to get off to a good start, really worry more about what are the customer's requirements, satisfying those requirements, and making sure you're really protecting that customer satisfaction side of it. Because that first impression, whether it's the 30, 60-day onboarding, whatever it might be, who you're putting in front of the customer that you just want a contract with, really focusing on the importance of that kind of first 30, 45, 60-day time frame. So it's very important to get off to a good start, which I would say early on in whether it's here at Focus or maybe some other companies, didn't really focus on that as much as we should have.
One thing that we pride ourselves on at Evergreen and that we admire so much in the founders and companies that we work with is scrappiness and the willingness to roll up your sleeves and work really hard. I think what that can sometimes lead to is taking on a lot, founders taking on a lot themselves. And I think where I've seen mistakes are a slowness perhaps to delegate or to invest in a team. And when MSP owners have built a strong team around them and have trained other people to also go out and close a deal, or to empower other folks that they work with to make decisions, that's led to faster moving companies, more people doing those high value added things. And so I would say that the mistake can be to think about their businesses and wanting to keep it lean, which we value, but looking around the corner, expecting success and hiring a team around them to elevate that success. And that's been a way that we've seen companies scale really well.
So elevate using right team around them and not take on too much where it impacts them and the business. Okay, thank you. So in your experience, what are the key ingredients of building a strong and positive company culture? Can you share some examples how companies can build a great culture?
I hope so. Maybe my employees will watch this and disagree, but no, it's top down. I really believe that it starts with the CEO, certainly the management team, other C-levels, executives, really with hiring. I mean, you have to know your culture. Every company has unique culture. It's different. And you have to have that known to the team that's recruiting and identify candidates that fit your culture. If you're an in the office culture, if you're a remote culture, IT, 24/7 mentality in this business, you have to have for a lot of your engineers and technicians. So I think CEO and certainly C-level setting the expectation of what that culture is, and you just can't get away from it. You can't hire off of it for a need. You can't, shrug your shoulder when somebody breaks culture and keep that person around. You really got to be hard-nosed and hard-lined on what that culture is, and stick to it when it comes to your policies that you're following, whether it's customer-facing or HR-related policies. It's very important. And I think that, if you don't have it at the CEO level, it can be done at management and VP level. It's possible, but it's just very difficult if people feel like the CEO and other C-level executives aren't setting a positive culture daily and have it known what is your mission, vision, values, things like that. I think it's very important to be pushed down from the top and stick to it when you're hiring.
Yeah. What is that high payoff activity that you think CEOs can do, or C-level, like executive leaders, like in your role, my role? What can we do as a high payoff activity, which is a continuous activity that can lead to great results when it comes to culture top down?
Yeah, I would go with communication. I mean, us as C-levels, whether it's the CEO, myself as CFO, others need to be able to talk to the bottom, to the middle, to the top employees, make them feel comfortable. I'm not better than you. I'm not above you. If you have an idea, let's discuss it. I don't care if you're the, entry level help desk engineer or you're the VP of engineering. We want to get feedback from the field as far as what ideas you have to streamline. Hey, we're having constant ticket problems related to XYZ, and they have to be empowered to bring that up the chain and be open and management show, let's discuss it. Let's get on a call or whatever it might be. And you'd have to continue to show that. So I think that communication constantly, where it's not just waiting for it as a CEO or a CFO, it's going out there talking with people, whether it's, we have people in 12 different states, so it's not always easy to do it in person, but getting on calls with individuals to really understand and make them feel empowered to say, hey, something's off. I want to bring it to your attention. Sure, you're not going to get in trouble for it. It's not going to be an issue. We're just going to discuss it and figure out how to fix it.
Yeah, no, that is great advice. So communication with that mindset is really, really important. When I drove down to Boston from New Jersey and I had to make a stop to charge my Tesla, and even when you go from New Jersey culture to like Connecticut culture to then Boston area, you can feel a different vibe. And you can normally feel the vibe. And similarly, when human beings work in companies, it's like a group of people working together to create that group success. You can feel the vibe. So that's how I look at like overall culture definition.
Yeah, I would second many of the things that Chris said. When it comes to culture, I think about clarity on, Chris mentioned this too, on mission, vision, and values. And we work with a lot of different companies, and there's no right or wrong or one culture that we would try to make anybody fit into. But the best cultures will be the ones that are authentic to what has made them successful and who they are. One common theme that I've seen from many of the cultures of the companies that we work with is a real focus and care on the client. And I think companies that have maintained that as a core value, and something that is central and lived and breathed within the company, I think can keep companies really true to who they are and what they do.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts there and also validating that it is important. So, when it comes to your success strategies in terms of acquiring talent, in terms of retaining and engaging talent, what are some of the experiences that you can share with us where MSPs, or in general, as small, medium sized businesses, they can build and sustain high performing teams? They're able to attract, engage, and retain their top talent.
The two challenges, retention and acquisition, are inherently linked. And I think we've seen that some of the best way to attract talent is to actually focus on the employees that you have, and make sure they're having a wonderful employee experience. And the more that they can be advocates for how great of a place it is to work, they'll tell their friends, they'll bring in referrals, and that creates that windwheel, as you mentioned. If you're able to set up the environment for folks earlier in their careers to be successful, I think that's a way that we've both found an avenue to attract more talent, but then also create some stickiness and loyalty with those folks, when we've taken a chance on them, and then many times they have proved us right and been really successful.
Yeah, no, Celeste, that was great. I never thought about that, starting with the employees you have to help attract talent. I like to think we tried that, but I never really thought of it like that. That's a great point. I think what we're trying to do, I'll start with the retain side of it, is develop. I think, money's up there, but I think we found it's not top one or two. It's definitely up there. And we've tried to obviously stay where we can competitive in that area. but I think we've tried the other things, which is empowering our employees, promotion, development. I mean, giving managers a budget to ensure they're spending on developing their team, whether, in areas that they like, promoting them. Obviously, people want to be, well, received and move up in their career. Many people do. So really making that clear message and meeting with them regularly, usually 1 to 2 times a year, to really focus on that, if not more. On the attraction side, I don't mean to say COVID was the best thing, but from an attraction side, COVID was the best thing for focus. We were able to leave New England, and we went from 3 or 4 states to, I think we're in 12 or 13 states now, where we no longer see that as a barrier. We've been able to really tap into some tremendous talent in other geographic areas that have helped us grow over the last 3 or 4 years.
Thank you. So you expanded your reach to build your capabilities, better capabilities by expanding the reach to different states. So when I look at from the culture point of view, so I came up as part of the book. I have Sunny's 4 wheels of life. It's just like a car. So if a human is a car, then you know where you're going, your personal vision of success, and you can have that. So I call it life by design plan, that you should have a life by design plan, at least thinking 20 years ahead in 5 years terms, and the more focus on the next 12 months. And you focus on those 4 wheels of life, which is health wheel, your relationship wheel, your career wheel, and your legacy wheel, the impact wheel. And if you do that, and then as an employer, you can support people, their personal vision of success with those 4 wheels, then the overall 360 care, the genuine care people feel. So my kids, and you have met one there in Boston. I just dropped him off for his first year. So he will always talk about, Daddy, Mr. Beast, he raised $12 million to clean ocean. This is how he's doing stuff. But the point that I'm making is that new generation that is coming into our businesses, they do care about the impact, the legacy. So if we can kind of really create that harmony for them, help them create that harmony between those 4 wheels of life, health, relationships, career, and legacy, then their work-life harmony that they're looking for, that can be achieved. So that creates a great workplace community. And when you have a great workplace community, then you can do well as a business. All right. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your experience, your insights, very, very valuable insights. I truly appreciate you and my partnership here, my collaboration here with Evergreen portfolio companies, and my relationship, collaboration, and teamwork with Focus Technology and their future companies. I truly appreciate that. Thank you so much for taking the time to come to my show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for watching Sunny's Silver Linings. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.